Clouds, love the show. Excited to watch America's Game of the Week on Fox when Baltimore goes into Dallas. That game on at 1 or 4. Thanks, Ryan and Brian. Well, thanks for asking, Ryan and Brian. That game is on at 4 o'clock. Eagles-Saints is on at 1 on Fox. And at 4 o'clock, of course, it's Ravens at Cowboys. Now time for the Bud List.
You just going to act like there was nothing on there? I thought you disbanded with it.
But then you got mad.
Well, the other one is the real one where I posed for 30 minutes for that one. You never used.
Ramsey, we got to put muscular blue on it.
Yes, thank you. All right, at number 3, Nick, sorry, Trevor.
It's fair.
Trevor Lawrence. And I'm not going to patronize you, Trevor, with this nickname, the Prince and Bugles, because I'm not going to give you all the pomp and circumstance that you and I know you don't deserve, all right? I'm trying to help you, Trevor. This is about motivation.
True.
You should be cooking now. This is year 4. This is year 4. All right? You should be cooking if you're a future star. But last week, 47% completion? And I'm actually giving you 0.3 of a point. All right? That's for rookies and backups. All right? Even bad rookies and backups. 47% completion. So you got to get it going. You got a nice, solid running back in Travis Etienne. You got a Super Bowl winning coach in Doug Peterson. You got some quality receivers, Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas Jr., and the perennially underrated, particularly on this show, Gabe Davis. That's right. Your defense is only giving up 9th. The Ravens to win the Super Bowl. Very smart people. Brilliant people, actually. Picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. But it's going pretty rough right now. All right. I know it's not all on you. Defense has not been Ravens-like at all. Offensive line struggling. And the coaching staff looks befuddled. I mean, they really do. They do. So it's not all on you, but you are the MVP, the 2-time MVP. You are the $260 million man. So you have to make sure that you guys do not fall to 0-3. Whatever, I don't care if you run it. I don't care if you pass it. I don't care if you win 2-0 on a safety. You have got to make sure the Baltimore Ravens go into Dallas this weekend and win that game. Lamar, I believe in you. All right, at number 1, you're going to like this one, Nick. Nick Sirianni.
Thank God.
Now, Nick, I'm not your biggest your biggest fan, but I'm certainly not your biggest detractor. We know who that is, all right? But you on the hot seat, man. Your owners already felt like they're doing you a favor by bringing you back. All right? They already, threw around the idea of Bill Belichick, and he's out there definitely looked like he wasn't the coach. We know that. So Greg Jennings and Nick predicted you get fired during the season, and if you lose this game, that is a real possibility sooner rather than later. You had obviously the questionable calls at the end of your last loss to Atlanta. You then kind of, sort of put it on Kellen Moore, kind of, sort of didn't fully claim it like Dan Campbell, it was on me. All right. And then you don't, definitely a mistake, don't talk to the team. You let Jalen Hurts just talk to the team. You don't talk to the team after a devastating loss like that. So your leadership and your knowledge is in question right now. So you got New Orleans. They've been playing great. So that's good for you, though, because if you beat New Orleans and they're playing like this, people will really feel like, okay, we're fine. We beat Green Bay. We had a hiccup. We should have beat Atlanta, but we beat New Orleans, who was playing well. We're 2-1. If you lose, I told you on Funk Alert, Funk Watch, the supernatural funk could be back, and you could maybe not be back.
Wow.
Nick, go get him.
Okay, well, it's coach's turn, but that's fine.
I meant Nick Sirianni.
Oh, Nick Sirianni. I was like, what am
Nick Sirianni, go get him.
Sorry about that, bro.
Such a good segment, bro.
Thank you.
It's like every week we get to Thursday and I get to reset with this segment.
Like this.
It's motivation, Coach.
Yeah,
it's inspiration.
it's fantastic. I'm going to add one person to the list, and to me, this is problematic, and it's Brandon Ayuk. So you all off season. You don't like your contract. I get it. You want more money. I get it. You want to trade. Okay. I get it. you create distractions, you're pushing forward, you're telling everybody how ready you're going to be. When it finally gets done, then you decide to stay with the team, which is ultimately what you wanted. And they gave you $120 million for your contract, significant. And now through the first 2 games, you've kind of been the invisible man. You have 100 less yards than you had through the first 2 games last season, and Debo's hurt, and it's time. It's time that you become the star that you claim you are, that you were paid to be, and that everybody expects you to be. And this week is the week they really need you to do that without Debo and CMC.
Solid.
No, great. No question about it. And it's not just he hadn't been getting open like usual. He's been dropping some balls. He's had 2 drops, and I think he only had 2 all of last season.
It's hard when you hold out that long and then have to come right back in, but they need you to perform, and now more than ever with Debo out.
All right, as much as it pains me to say, I agree with Coach. This is a spectacular Bud list.
Thank you.
Trevor deserves to be on there. Lamar he played well in week 2, but he's under a lot of pressure, and obviously Nick Sirianni deserves to be on there, and Coach added a great person. I have a special responsibility on Thursdays.
I don't know.
As I am the sports media ombudsman.
Wow.
That's a shoot.
And so over the course of the week, I have to survey the sports media landscape and say what needs ombudding.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, someone's got to do it. Far too
You're a
often,
hero.
sadly, it's people on our own show that need ombudding, but not today. Today, we look outwards to the player podcast world. Player podcasts are under duress, and to misquote a former president, I'm calling for a complete and full shutdown until we figure out what's going on. Because I know what's happened. People saw, you see, this player started a podcast, and that's how he connected with Taylor Swift. What could it do for me? Here's the answer. Not that, America. What it's going to do for you is cause dissension and disaster. Let's go through a short list. Debo starts a podcast on episode 1. Gets himself on the board. Pat Bev starts a podcast, episode 1 through infinity, makes a fool of himself. Micah starts a podcast, raises coach's blood pressure, causes problems in locker rooms. Michael Porter Jr. starts a podcast. Hey. Don't listen to that. Certainly not at work. LeBron starts a podcast. The Lakers hire the co-host to be his head coach. The Knicks guys start a podcast called The Roommates Pod. Don't invite Julius Randle in. Now he's Instagramming, the truth will come out. And now it's impacting games. Here's CJ Stroud talking to Bears Jalen Johnson about a podcast that Jalen did, that Caleb listened to, that helped the Texans beat the Bears.
Stop telling your secrets on Richard Sherman podcast, dude.
What you mean?
The palms look. You ain't slick, brother. You ain't getting me. You ain't getting me.
Coach, he went on the podcast. He said this is what we do. CJ watched it. They then played, and he knew.
I like CJ more now than before. I love that he's listening to podcasts.
No, it's a great job by him, and everything CJ does makes him more likable and makes him seem smarter, all of it, including the fact he doesn't have a podcast. He goes on other people's sometimes, he listens to them, and he uses them. Folks, you're not going to get Dua Lipa to marry you by doing a podcast. Just chill out. And let's just figure out what's happening here.
Can I give Nick like an A+?
I was good. Yes, and you give him an A+, Nick. This is definitely your best ombudsman segment for sure. You know, Coach and I are in agreement with you. You just think about it. You got 45 minutes to an hour to kill. You're gonna say something you don't mean to say. You're gonna give out some secrets that you're not supposed to. You're gonna say something about an opponent that you're not supposed to, whether too good or too bad. And so it's tough, man.
More editors.
Well, that's
It's almost like everyone is like, all right, I got a host, check. I got the former player, check. Cameras, mics, we good? Like, we're
Let's
good.
go.
You need a real editor. Just be like, hey, take that part out. You're playing CJ Stroud.
The thing is, if you take out the good stuff, it's not going to be a great podcast.
It doesn't matter.
It's just hard for players
You could take out the strategy like that. You could take out that.
Do a
But that's
strategy
what
pass.
people want.
and if Michael Porter Jr.'s podcast had an
Enough
editor,
about
there
that.
would be nothing.
I'm putting rookie quarterbacks on the Bud list. Not doing
All
great.
of them?
Yeah, every rookie quarterback.
Wow. Jaden?
Granted,
Jaden?
Yeah. You got. Here's what I want. After 2 weeks of football, 1 touchdown. Could someone throw a touchdown? Everything is depressed. Offense is depressed. So obviously the rookie numbers are depressed. Also, take a look at that. If we get there, you go. Completion percentage 63, 177 yards, not 1 touchdown. Pass rating at 64, and everybody's been sacked 20 times. Then we have people trying to figure it out, right? So you got C.J. Stroud, as we mentioned, talking to Caleb. Caleb doesn't want to hear it. And poor Bo Nix he either hasn't mastered the post-game press conference or mastered it perfectly. I'll let you decide. Take a listen.
Bo, can you take us through the interception in the end zone?